Hi, you're on board on Buggy Blitz with Loick Labreuille, world champ since December 2015, and when I'm recording this in December 2017, I'm back on the highest step again. So, if I'm lucky, you find this little masterclass fun and interesting. But this score isn't my best score. This video will show it. There is a cap at 226k, and I'm working beyond this cap since April 2016. But please don't blame Victor Unit for it, it's Google Play's cap. And in January 2018, Vector Unique team fixed that problem thanks to them. Here, I use Monster Truck to push me. It's a very useful trick. So you need to go right and left and right and left in front of it. And luckily, it pushes you all the way to the checkpoint. Here we have a little bad luck with that shortcut. Anyway, at this final step of the game, you need to constantly watch the timer, and if you see 5, you're good as a Walking Dead. You're entering in the survival mode. You absolutely need to reach the next checkpoint at any cost, with all shortcuts you can find, even the absurd one. But only in this case, only in the survival mode. Why? Because if shortcuts are great, there aren't always so good things to do, especially if you need to restart, because you lose speed and time for the next stage. Nevertheless, here in survival mode, remember, the road to reach the checkpoint is everywhere. Here I reboot, of course after the time gain, and the car automatically comes back on the road on the next checkpoint. Nothing new. Once again, on survival mode, you need to take every shortcut you can find. Obviously, this time it's too late, but it's not too late every time. You can pass through this one in other game. So 231k, 5,000 points beyond the cap. It's not bad, but I will go higher. Here we have two difficult curves at high speed, but not today because I am not fast enough this time, and usual skills will easily do the job. Beautiful one, it's a very clean turn. So here it's boring, so fast forward. I do it every time I need to, so don't worry, it's not my real speed. Oops, a very bad choice, Loic. I tried to use the monster truck to push me to the checkpoint, but I kill it with a shield. Beginner's mistake. So, 235k, almost 10,000 beyond the old cap. Not bad, but I have a final one high score in those old games condition. I really think we can go a little higher, but it's crazy hard. It takes me months of training to reach that 240k. But all these high scores are all news now, because in January 2018, the game has changed. Vector Unique fixed the cap problem and put new things like new cars, boulder avalanches, and new upgrade. So it's all new kind of high score. And I hope one day I could reach the 300k. In other hand, I wish you good luck and perseverance for your own high scores. So the introduction is finished. We can start the masterclass. What if I tell you I share with you one of my big secrets about coins? I get rid of it immediately. Cool, isn't it? I'm not so sure you find it always cool or realize it's all about skills. That skinny little dungeon jumper, it's much more slim than a monster trunk, like a road stomper. So when the monster trunk eats 3 lines of coins, dungeon jumper can only take 2. Yes? Really? Not always. In a curve, if you are really precise, you can drift and take a big part of the 3 line. Yes, it's not easy, but it's possible. And if you do that on the 80k, it will do it. No, I talk about precision. A little warning. To try those little tricks I will show you, it's better if you are already a good driver. You need to be precise, very precise, very precise. Extremely precise, insanely precise. I'm not joking. And don't be stopped by the it's impossible, because the impossible, it's not really impossible. It's just almost impossible. For example, here it's now your new favorite game. Hit a car without slowing down. You can't hit a car from behind because you're losing speed. So you need to find another way to do it. And for that, nothing is better than precision. This one is just for show off. It's not my real road. I do it only for training. Another example. You can take that next curve after a full jump at top speed. It's impossible without brake. You'll finish in the water every time. So, stay at top speed, don't brake, but don't take a full jump. And impossible become possible. I know it seems very hazardous and dangerous, but after hard training, you can do it without thinking about it. It's not so hard to do it. Once again, you'll see you can do it. I'll show you how to do it at different speed. Here, I fast forward because I want to show you something else. Sometimes you can pass through bottleneck without touching anything, only on two wheels. For example, you can pass through there at slow speed on four wheel without touching the hut or jars. It's impossible. But if you are only on two wheels, impossible become almost impossible. Enough with precision. Are you ready to strike on the hard stuff? I choose to start with probably the most difficult things to do in Buggy Blitz. I call it the mountain. As you can see, this jump is not always easy. It takes time to master it, but it could be worse, really worse. You can choose to take by the mountain. Here, speed is everything. You can't be too slow, it's always a failure. But more fast you are, more difficult it is. I show you how to do it at different speed and different point of jump. Each jump is unique. You need to adapt to it. Sometimes with a booster it's a hardcore straight line. Sometimes it's a curve, but not too much. You need to keep speed and good trajectory if you want to reach the sand. And sometimes you need to roll on the flank of the mountain with a strange attitude. You turn down for the speed and quickly turn high for your trajectory. But not too much if you don't want to do a bell curve and finish in the waters. Not easy. And not easy to identify each case immediately. I won't lie to you, pass the mountain is very hard to do properly. You need hard training, very hard training. And final case, when you get the booster a long time ago, you can reach the flank close to the water and the jump at the end of the mountain with a S-curve. You roll on this little flank of mountain and go directly through the cave. Especially with the new upgrade, you can even skip across water between the jump and the mountain. It's great fun and certainly the fastest way to pass the mountain. It takes 50 seconds and not 17. It was fun, isn't it? So, more fun. After that, we have, according to me, the most fun things to do in Buggy Blitz. I call it the Highland. As you can see, that bridge can be not so easy. When you've got a booster, you can have 2 or 3 monster trunk on the plank of wood. So in those particular cases, I think it's more simple and more fun to take by the sea. You visit briefly the island, skip across water, and quickly come back on the road. Seemed easy to do? It's not. Of course, once again, you can't be too slow. It's always a failure. Meanwhile, if you are slow without booster, you need to rapidly reach the road. Don't stay too long underwater. Once again, of course, only one skip across water, it's the best. Two skips, it's not bad, but three skips, it's definitely not good. It's way too slow. You're losing much more time in this case. Nevertheless, if you are forced to do it without booster, you need to rapidly reach the road. Don't stay too long underwater. But I'm warning you, it's not very good for the clock. And now we strike on the hardest shortcut and the most tricky one. Because it's not easy to know if it's a good shortcut or a bad shortcut. I call it the bottleneck. So here it's a little boring, so I fast forward a little. I just want to show you the timer at the checkpoint. On this study case, we'll need to watch closely the timer. How many times it takes me from the first checkpoint to the next checkpoint of this session. If I play nice on the usual road, we'll need to watch closely the timer. Here, it takes me 17 seconds. But in fact, it's really not a good score. Generally, you can hope for 16 seconds here. So, I take that 16 as a reference time if you're okay with that. Can we do a better time, like 15 or even less in a very rare condition? We try several ways to achieve it. First, if you're lucky, you can take a booster on the usual road. And you can do 50 seconds. Nothing really surprising. The second one, obviously, it's a bottleneck, with a shield and a little skip across water. Be careful with the shield, you need to get it at the last moment, just before the bottleneck, so you can clean the road after the bottleneck with that shield and keep your speed intact. And once again, in this way you can do 15 seconds. The third one, it's a bottleneck but without shield. Here you need to be at top speed, even faster if you can. At this high speed, you can take at left and do a large curve on the water and skip across water to get through the bottleneck. And there is a final case. If you are on booster before the bottleneck, you can do a very large curve at left. You even skip across water briefly behind the decor of mountain, then through the bottleneck, and you can do less than 15. But it's very, very hard. I achieved these crazy things correctly only 3 or 4 times. I have no picture of it because I'm still working on this rare, very hard event. One final tricks out of my sleeve. This one is very useful. I call it the fly on the water. It's all about anticipation. You need to take a turn before it's obvious. Before. I know it's strange, but if you really focus, you can find out if it will be a straight line or a curve after the jump. So, you start from the right and take a big diagonal to the left on the jump. This one is not bad, but we can do better. Like this one, it's much better. And this final one, it's a little tricky, but at the end, nothing very hard. I really thanks Debbie, Matt, and all the Vector Unique team. Very nice people who patiently underread me when I bother them with the all cap problem. So I hope you find all this entertaining. Thanks for watching, and I wish you great fun with Beach Buggy Blitz.